Hey, what's up? My name is Bobby Ridge, and I'm a life extension researcher. And there's two goals that are emerging. If you watch my videos, you know what they are. Um, Two very large goals. They seem to be pinnacles to our society, and they are extending our lifespan to 150 years old, 1,000 years old. Obviously we'd want to live for millions and billions of years old. We wouldn't just want to stop at 1,000, right? And so there's that one goal emerging over this, and it'll be developed over this next 15, 20 years. And then also being able to augment our intelligence to be super intelligent. Have an IQ of 500, and then obviously we'd keep increasing it, and eventually have IQs of a million and stuff. And so, so I want to discuss how these goals over the next decade or two are really going to change our society in such a big way. And really, it's going to be what ultimately unites our species once and for all. You know, People like to say aliens will unite our species, right, if they ever attacked us. But really, these two goals, defeating all death and augmenting our intelligence, these goals, I feel very confident they will once and for all unite our species, and it'll be incredible, right? So I want to discuss a little bit about that. Um, Obviously, this is going to become a huge movement once all this science gets out, and you start seeing it being applied. You start seeing 118-year-olds living to 121, 122. You start seeing a lot of elderly people having their aging reversed, and you start seeing augmentations, and you start seeing IQs increase. Obviously, and you observe this over the next 10 or 15 years. Obviously, this is going to be a huge movement, right? The biggest movement. And so this will cause huge changes to our society. You know, just the biggest changes, right? Um, we'll see a level of passion and ambition emerge that is just going to be so great. A level of moral superiority, everything's just going to enhance for the better, for the most part. So yeah, let's talk about these changes that life extension will cause. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. This is a life extension vlog I'm doing right now. I do daily life extension vlogs for my YouTube channel, and make sure you subscribe. And you always want to support every life extension researcher, every life extensionist, really. That's extremely important to do that. If it's not obvious. And also check out the link. I have a life extension merchandise store. I have the first store and I made the most diverse sort of transhumanist and life extensionist merchandise. Share the video. Just do everything you can to support life extensionists. Extremely important, right? We gotta defeat death and all the stuff we're gonna talk about in the video. So, so developing life extension technologies will require a pretty solid amount of innovations. You know, I think efforts from scientists alone, the level of passion and ambition that is already here inside these fields but that will emerge, but will really be incredible. But really, I mean, the general philosophy behind life extension and that going mainstream and affecting everybody, man, it's gonna be so big. And it's so impactful and pretty intense, really. And being able to experience, AI reaching human level general intelligence and accelerating past us, and seeing full automation take over and nobody have jobs, and figuring out what we're gonna do after that, which we with an increase in IQ we'll be able to figure that out. And just this whole process, this transition from this normal sort of idea of society that we all have to a transhumanist society, a post-human society. It's just going it's a lot. So Where am I? So, but I really want to focus on the next like, yeah. So I want to mainly focus on the next like 10 to 15 years from now. This year is 2020, obviously, and it will be a little bit of a bumpy ride, definitely, but you know, overall it's going to be a good thing. Dude, you should have combed my hair. So, on a personal level, life extension, it really makes you just want to be a better person. It makes you want to extend other people's lifespan, and get people's help to have them extend your lifespan. And you want each other to be as healthy as possible, to not get in trouble, so that you can both achieve life extension, right? Because if you're getting in trouble, then you decrease your chances of achieving life extension. And so, there really, when it comes to philosophy, there really is um, an intrinsic sort of like, what's the word? Just ambivalency to your fellow human, right? Because there's just we're gonna need each other, and this seems to be very clear. Our future's too dangerous, and we're gonna need literally every single human's help. All 8 billion of us, once and for all, right? Oh, I lost it. So where are we at? On press. Okay. So yeah, as a life extensionist, I feel like just so happy. Really just so fulfilled and feel healthy, and you really feel like this is like the next step in like consciousness, right? The next step, the next obvious step that humanity needs to take, and when you become a life extensionist, you really feel that, you really internalize that. So, dude, my hair's doing something weird. The life extensions vlog is almost over, so I gotta talk a little bit faster. So we'll probably have like 10 to 20 million, maybe solid like life extensionists, maybe by the year like 2025. I would say, right? Let's say like 10 million, just to be conservative, and which is still a solid minority among 8 billion people. But it's not really about the amount of people over the next 10 years or whatever. It's not really based on the amount. It's based on who's life extensionist, and you do see a lot of wealthy and powerful people becoming life extensionists, which is a very good thing. Gosh, why is that doing that? Oh, so then maybe by like, oh man. So yeah, we'll see like really big changes, right? Within this next 10, 15 years, we'll start seeing self-driving cars everywhere, drones, robots, walking around. Some really incredible stuff. Robots reaching human level intelligence, and this is gonna all these advancements, along with the philosophy of life extension, will really reduce crime by so much, right? Because there's so much video footage occurring everywhere, and surveillance will be increasing also. So we'll have power with all of this, surveying of cameras, and so we'll have a better understanding of behavioral genetics, and so all these things will prevent adversarial behaviors by a lot, and so let's say around the 2030, there's what, like 2 billion life extensionists at that point, right? Um, and just really imagine that, right? Like imagine like 2 billion life extensionists all around the world. Imagine it's really easy to find a life extensionist when you go walk outside, and they're all throughout the political system, and a bunch of wealthy people, even people who used to be corrupt, are life extensionists now, and they have a pretty solid understanding by then, right? By 2030, and so that's when we'll see just this huge shift in society. We'll see people really focusing on helping others. You can't. It'd be much more difficult to walk past like some like homeless person like walking who's like having some episode, like they haven't taken a shower for like a year, like months, right? And they're just having a horrible time, right? It'd be much more difficult of a task, because you'll have all these people who are just like so morally superior, who we don't just want to extend lifespan. Obviously, we want to extend health span, and that's going. What we'll see is that won't just end with medicine, right? With extending health span, we're gonna push that into different social issues, and so that's what you'll see. And then something important, I think, a lot of people are really, you know, which society is more likely to be dangerous and have murders and like rapes? People who know they're gonna die at some random time between, you know, 1 to 120 years old. People who know that it's inevitable that they're gonna die, or people who are working hard on themselves to help themselves and help other people live to like 150 years old or 1,000 years old. Like, which society, which 8 billion people are going to be more dangerous, going to be more murderers and more rapists, right? I think that's a very obvious question that you'll see more inside a deathless society or a society that where death is inevitable because you have nothing to live for, and you at least understand that on a subconscious level. um, you know, uh, I think I already went over the 8 minute. Damn, dude, it's so difficult doing these things in 8 minutes. Another one is which wealthy person, wealthy corrupt person, uh, is more likely to be corrupt and morally inferior, right? One that's who knows they're gonna die in the next like 10 or 15 years because they're like it's like 6 years old, or one that's a life extensionist and knows they have to live with everybody forever, for thousands of years. Which one? A wealthy corrupt person who's a life extensionist is less likely to burn fossil fuels because they know that that's killing them. That's decreasing their chances of life extension, right? And so you really do start to see just life extension fixing like everything. Really, it becomes a total fundamental to society, and so that's really incredible. Um, so we should start seeing a lot more oligarchs being morally superior once more and more of them become life extensionists. And dude, word on the street is a lot of wealthy people want to become life extensionists. So that's really good. And so we don't just have life extension on the line; we have super intelligence on the line, right? And well, so we got existential risks emerging, and they seem like they're emerging like exponentially, dude. It's like ridiculous the amount of existential risks. We already have 150,000 people dying a day, right? The worst one of all is long distance brain computer interfaces. Being able to hack people's brains are being developed, and they're probably already developed. So we have all of these like huge issues on the line, and so once this is well known, and life extension becomes mainstream, what we'll see is nobody. Why would people hinder it, right? Why would people try to keep it for themselves? First off, that'd be boring. Like if you only had like a couple of people achieve that, but the problems that are emerging are so complex and so difficult that it's really going to require everyone, right, to unite to figure out all these problems, to make sure our brains don't get hacked, to make sure these existential risks don't wipe us off the planet, to make sure that we don't have 150,000 people dying all the time, right? Like to whatever. There's some huge issues occurring, and so that's really going to require a united species, a united life extensionist. So seeing this transition will be really beautiful, and I think it'll be really tough in many respects, mainly because of pushback and corruption. But once we make it over this bump, and we make it to you start seeing lots of automation and then universal basic resources and incomes incorporated correctly, and the technologies are capable of sustaining us and sustaining ideal lifestyles, especially for pretty much all of us. It's just it'll become so beautiful, and the goal will become more and more obvious over the next 10 to 15 years, and people will become more and more attached to this goal, and it's because it's like what I mean it's just so amazing, right? And the goal is just too incredible. Having these technologies being able to sustain us and to free up our time, and it'll just be it'll be such a win-win that I think it'll be a relatively easy transition, especially when you start getting a few different specifics. But um, yeah, this vlog went over like I think this is the longest live extension vlog I've done so far. Um, so yeah, remember the decisions we make over this next 20 years will ultimately determine if you live forever or not, right? And so just, make sure you stay safe, stay alive, and, focus on developing life extension research. All right, that's it for the life extension vlog. All right, I look forward to living with you forever.